Hello again. I want to talk a little bit more about trust and dogs, following on from what I spoke about yesterday. And I just want to give a little bit of texture and just point out maybe 10 ways in how you can increase your dog's trust in you as their guardian. So just to give you a little idea, emotional idea, story idea, using little children. Just imagine you have a little child and you send that child off to school, and then they come back later on in the day and they say to you, "You know what? At school today, when the bell rang for break and we all went outside, little Tommy was rather rough with me. He kept on bowling me over and knocking me down flat, and everybody around went, 'Oh yeah, but Tommy's really friendly, he's so nice, he loves to play,' and nobody stopped anything. So when it came to the end of break, I was tired and I was a little bit stressed because no one was listening to me. And then we went through classes and it came to lunchtime and I went up to get my lunch, and I was excited about lunch because I was hungry. I'd had a very busy day, I'd been tossed about in the playground and now I just wanted to eat my food. And as I put my hands out to accept my tray with my plate of food on it, the dinner lady suddenly just took it back off me. And I was a bit confused. I thought, why has she done that? I thought I was getting my meal. Then, later on in the day, I had to go to the headmaster's office because apparently I had got 100% in my maths exam. And he wanted to congratulate me. So I went to the headmaster's office, and he was so excited and so enthused about the fact I'd done so well. And I think he thinks I'm pretty cool because he patted me on the head, he patted me on the sides, and I was already feeling a little bit uncomfortable after playing in the playground earlier and being tossed about by little Tommy. And I kept on looking at him and pleading with him, hoping that he would emotionally understand that this was not comfortable for me and that I didn't want to be patted on the head and I didn't want such heavy pats on the sides because my body hurt. Anyway, that's what happened. That's what happened on that day. Now, as a parent, if our child was to say something like that to us, we wouldn't maybe hit the roof, but we would address it. We would go to the school and say, look, if the child's being played with a bit too much, maybe they're a little bit too shy to say, oh, that's a bit too much for me. But, you are teachers, you are older, you should be looking out for them. And you should just cool it down when it's getting a bit out of hand. And when it comes to dinner time, you don't say to a little child, here's your dinner, but no, you can't have it. You have to wait. And as for being patted on the head, well, who wants to be patted on their crown chakra? It's a very sensitive spot on the body, not to mention if a dog or anybody has got pain or any issues within their body, they don't want to be patted like this. So this is just to give you an idea, using children, because sometimes when people imagine it being a little child, they find it easier to understand how that might appear, how that might be. So I want to start with my number one way how you can help your dog to be more trusting of you. And the first thing I'm going to mention is that you intervene when your dog is looking at you saying, hey, this dog is way too much for me, I'm just not comfortable, I really want this dog to have a timeout, get me out of here. And this happens quite a bit. People don't know when their dog is saying, help, help, oh please. The dog might turn away, lick the lips. They might be sniffing at something like, oh my God, this dog is really intense, it's just too much. There's many different calming signals that the dog might actually say say to the person to get the intention. They might be looking, and all along you get these people standing at the side going, my dog's just loving it, just playing, or they're just playing, or it's just friendly. Well, this is not good enough, because if you don't intervene, your dog is not going to trust that you have their back, and it may come a time when they take matters into their own hand. Maybe they've just had one too many times like that throughout the day, or they're just feeling a little bit stressed out. Maybe their body hurts. Maybe, these things can change how they might feel, and maybe they just think, you know what, you just don't have my back, I'm going to have to take action and take matters into my own hands. You don't really want to force your dog into a situation like that. You want to be proactive and a responsible, loving parent to your dog, or guardian if you prefer to use that word. So that's my first one. My second one is food. So, whilst I mentioned earlier about the little child going to get their food and then suddenly having it swiped away from them, people that do this all the time, I mean, I don't get why they would do it. There's other ways to help a dog not to have issues with food. There are much better ways to do it. But when you're hungry and when you're the one holding on to all of the resources, do you really think it is fair to go, oh, here you are, hungry little friend. Oh, but you know what, I'm going to take it off you straight away. Or I might give it back. Oh, no, I'm going to take it off you. I mean, it's just ridiculous. People that use this as a training tool, I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm sure you wouldn't like it if somebody did that to you. So it's just not necessary. There are other ways to train this food aggression thing that people think happens, but a lot of it is just our own perception and our own thoughts on the matter. If we start to look at things differently, things begin to change, and of course how we act and how we behave also helps our dog to change. So yeah, that's the first two. The third one I want to mention is when you're out walking and you bump into some people or somebody, and that person might be like, oh yeah, I'm a real dog person, I really like dogs, and they're one of those people that they don't realise their own strength. Now, we all have come across people like this as human beings. You go to shake someone's hand and they crush the living daylights out of your fingers, and you're like, damn, that was too much. You also get people like that want to pat the doggy, pat the dog, good doggy, doggy. This is just, whoa, way out of hand. You have to step in and let your dog know that you have their back. If somebody's doing that and you know your dog is sensitive, you know your dog might have some kidney issues or something like this, you don't want somebody patting them really hard in those areas. It's jolly painful. I mean, as human beings, we can voice when something is ouchy. With a dog, they cannot voice in the same way to those that hear them. Yes, we know when something is not right, but for a lot of people that don't read or don't hear when their dog is speaking to them, because yes, animals can speak, then, just think about it. Would you like somebody coming in patting you really harsh on the head when you've got a headache? No. So we want to make sure that we provide comfort for our dog when it's out and about, and appropriate conversation with other people. If somebody wants to pat your dog, then suggest maybe just one nice hand on the shoulder with a little bit of pressure, as in, good dog, rather than pat, 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 which is not very comfortable. Okay, so number 4. When you go out of the house, let them know when you're coming back, because you might think dogs don't understand, but they do understand. So by saying, and be true to your word, so you can't lie, you have to be honest. So if you say, I'm going out, I'm going to see my friend Jane, I will be back in a few hours, or I should be back just after lunch, I don't know exactly the time. You just need to be honest. When you talk to your dog, what you do as a human is you send out images and your dog picks up those images. That's how animal communication works, partly. And when you do that, then your dog feels a lot more comfortable knowing what is going on. So never underestimate that dogs do understand, but if you don't speak to them, then they haven't got that opportunity to hear what you have to say. But be true to your word, because when you want to build trust, you have to have your integrity still intact. So you can't just go, I'm going out for 1 hour and then come back at the very, 10 hours later, because that will absolutely not do you any credit whatsoever. Okay. 5. Always follow through with whatever you asking of them. So if you ask your dog to sit, first of all, okay, just bear in mind that you want to be sure that it's comfortable for your dog to sit. I mean, if it's freezing cold outside and you want them to sit on some sort of frozen igloo, then maybe that might be a bit harsh, but based on the fact that you would probably have considered that anyway, always follow through with anything you ask of them, so that they know that you are consistent. Otherwise, they'll just won't listen to you at all. So if you ask them to stop, do not do anything until they stop. If you ask them to come, do not do anything until they come. These things are important, and it's the same with human beings. Don't say you're going to do something and then not follow through with what you say you're going to do. Number 6. Have a routine and stick to the routine as best as possible. And when I mean routine, say for example you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, make sure that you take your dog for a walk at whatever time it is, 5:30, whatever, and that you're consistent, that you always take your dog for a walk around about the same time. Maybe in the winter time you might go a bit later because it's dark, summer a bit earlier because it's light, but have that routine that they get fed when they've had their walk, so that they know, because when they know that they're going to have certain things, they're less likely to have those issues with food anyway. They know they're going to have their food at that certain time. They know they'll have that walk at that certain time. It sets them up for success and it sets them up to win. And that's a good thing. Number 7, know what brings your dog joy. Because when you know what brings them joy, you'll be able to do those things with them. And when you put them in a position where they're fully enjoying themselves and loving the moment, then you're raising their vibration. And you're raising your own vibration together, unity. And that's all about love. And when you're loving and compassionate, then they are going to appreciate it greatly. It also helps them to trust in you, because they know that you are fun and they want that in their life. Number 8. Find somebody who shares the same values as you, and whose dog gets on with your dog, if they have a dog, or somebody who just you really trust and you know that they're a good person, so that when you go away, you can say to them, your dog, you're going to go and stay with auntie whoever, uncle whoever, and so that they feel secure and safe knowing that this person is going to take care of them and that they will be looked after. That's the best way that you can do things if you're going away. Obviously, if you can't do that, then you do need to explain things to them. Oh, I'm sorry, but I couldn't find anybody to look after you. Maybe you wouldn't say it like that, but say, couldn't take you to auntie so-and-so's, so this time you're going to have to stay there, and I hope it will be fine. maybe you want to just think about the wording that you use. So, number 9, and I've mentioned this quite a bit throughout this video, is to speak to your dog. Speak to your dog. Do not be afraid to speak to your dog, because your dog understands so much more than you think. And the more you practice it, the more you will get better intuitively at understanding when they're speaking back to you. It's so vital to speak to them. You know, they understand so much more than you think. And number 10, demonstrate love, because dogs like people who are kind so much more than those who aren't. And this has been, again, proven. Science has proven this. And so look for opportunities to be kind to others, because they will take note. Look for opportunities to uplift others, because your dog will take note, and your dog will trust you more if you are kind to others, to other dogs as well, to other animals. But these things are important to a dog. And those are just 10 ways that you can create and build more trust in your relationship with your dog and have them trust you more as their guardian. So thanks very much for watching. My name's ZsaZsa, and I'm in southeast Kent at the moment, enjoying the sunshine. Peace.